What makes a video game indie? Is it the size of a team, the budget, or is it just the vibe? When I posted a video a couple of weeks ago about the rise of corporate indie games, it sparked a massive debate in the comments. It showed that as a community, we're somewhat lost when it comes to an actual definition. And rightfully so. There's no other term in gaming that has been misused and watered down as much as the term indie. Whether it's big corporations misusing the term to make more money, or the gaming media itself fighting about a true definition, it all slowly led to the term being diluted and the original meaning behind it being completely forgotten. So in this video, I want to dive deeper into the subject by examining what the term indie originally was meant to represent, how the interpretation got distorted over the years, and if we even need a strict definition in the first place. So without further ado, let's dive right in. To understand how we got into this mess, we first have to look back and establish what the term indie was actually supposed to mean. Because while there have always been games made by individuals or small teams, the term indie as we use it today didn't really start to gain traction until the late 2000s. Until then, solo projects and projects made by small teams were seen as just a hobby, basically amateur stuff. There was believed to be no way that an independent project could have any impact on the mainstream gaming landscape. With the rise of the internet and birth of digital distribution, however, things slowly started to shift. For the first time ever, a solo developer didn't have to rely on a publisher to put their game out. Suddenly, a dev simply could make a game, release it on a digital store, and market it directly to players without any third party involved. The definition at the time was quite clear. An indie game was a game made independently by a single person or a small group of people, without any financial backing from a big publisher. And because of their tight budgets, these games had another characteristic that would accidentally become directly tied to the term indie. I'm talking about their visual identities. Highly stylized art directions and pixel art quickly became a distinguishing feature from their AAA counterparts, which helped them immensely to break the mold and creep their way into the mainstream gaming landscape. Their rise in popularity wasn't surprising. People started to love indie games, not only for their experimental nature, but especially for their simple and authentic aesthetics. However, these signature aesthetics, birthed from a place of financial necessity, played a big part in the dilution of the term, as you can see with the case of Dave the Diver in 2023. The game was a smash hit, critically acclaimed not only by different media outlets but also the players. The true problem, however, arose when the game got nominated for Best Indie Game at the Game Awards. Players were mad, and rightfully so. Other than its pixel art style, the game had nothing in common with an indie game. Its developer, Mint Rocket, was backed by Nexon, a multi-billion-dollar South Korean company. So it begs the question, why was a game that clearly didn't fit the category even nominated in it? Well, because responsible for the nomination wasn't actually the studio making the game. Rather, it got nominated by a jury composed of different gaming media outlets and gaming journalists, who all apparently thought that the game was indie. Which is just baffling to me. It can't just be that they saw Dave the Diver and apparently thought, well, it sure looks like an indie game, let's just nominate it, completely disregarding the funding and only going off of vibes and aesthetics. How diluted must the term actually be that even gaming outlets aren't able to tell indie and non-indie games apart? Well, apparently so much so that it gets even worse. This general confusion has recently given rise to a whole new breed of games that completely shatter the definition of independence. To see this new phenomenon, you have to look no further than a massive controversy that exploded around the game Mixtape a couple of weeks ago. The game was marketed as an artistic indie gem, but it launched with such a long list of licensed soundtracks, so expensive that any claim about it being indie is just ridiculous. It's quite obvious that the developers profited a lot from the financial backing of their publisher Annapurna Interactive. This controversy surrounding the game exposed a glaring reality. When a game has a tiny dev team but is backed by a publisher with huge funding, calling it indie ceases to be an honest description. All that it becomes is just a marketing tool to print even more money. And this is exactly where everything falls completely apart. Just think about where we started. We established that indie used to mean low budgets, no publisher backing, and a unique art style born out of absolute financial necessity. But look where we are today. Dave the Diver is backed by a multi-billion-dollar company, but has the looks and vibes of a classic indie game. And Mixtape has a small development team, but a publisher with endlessly deep pockets. When funding, team size, and art style no longer align, the word indie ceases to be a functional description of a video game. It has been stretched, distorted, and weaponized so many times that it now means absolutely everything, and therefore absolutely nothing. But losing the definition doesn't mean we've lost indie games completely. There are still many games out there, made by truly independent developers, that carry on the original spirit of what indie games were actually supposed to be. Instead of hanging on to ultimately useless definitions, we as passionate players should continue to support those independent developers to help keeping the original indie spirit alive. But now I want to hear from you. What is your opinion on the messy situation indie games are in right now? Do you believe a true definition is important? Or do you think that it doesn't matter? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Take care.